Hey, it's Webs here with a new Hearthstone deck, this time centered around another card that I've been wanting to use before he rotates out, Lorekeeper Polkelt. And I figured why not try to combo it out with another card that I wanted to use before it rotates out, which is Cthun, as I figured this would be an interesting way to do both MOONTREE and have Lorekeeper in one deck instead of the stereotypical combos that a lot of people actually use. Which actually turned out pretty well once the Cenarian wards were included. Even if this hurts the consistency of the combo, it just helps with the survivability a lot, and the main reason I ended up including it in the end. For the Mulligan guide of the deck, you're basically looking for cards that will either generate you more ramp or removal tools themselves, or some type of draw power, which means most of this deck is actually really good to keep in your open hand, though there are two exceptions to that rule. For the most part, Resizing Pouch and Capture Cold Tooth Mine are cards that you don't want to keep in your open hand, because both of these kind of serve the same purpose within the deck. They either generate you your big threats or allow you to draw into the big threats. With that being said, let's look at some games. Alright, time for a game against Paladin. So this open hand isn't that great. We're gonna get rid of Resizing Pouch and probably keep the Bog Beam, or maybe not keep anything. The Bog Beam would have been nice to keep just because it's removal, but it does take turn 3 to actually use it. The 2 nature studies is a lot better than what we had before. I'm going to use one of the nature studies right away, see what we can get. Grabbing the lunar eclipse as removal. Okay, so we do have to kill that instantly, or that could snowball pretty quickly. So we're going to use Bog Beam, mainly because of the fact that if we keep Lunar Eclipse until we can actually play it on turn 4, we should be able to still do the Overgrowth on the same turn, and we're just going to coin out the Overgrowth. To be honest, that Watch Post doesn't really do much against us, so we don't mind it just staying there. Okay, so we're going to draw a few cards, see what we can get. That's not a bad top deck. I'm going to use the second nature studies, grabbing the kennel as a way to generate minions without actually triggering their watch post. Okay, so we're going to kill the 2/4 and then kill the 2/2, getting us another minion here. It's interesting to see a watch post deck. That might be something to visit, though the watch posts aren't actually rotating out, so I don't know why I would want to do that or stuff rotates. Now, here's a really big warning that you have to know. If you play Lorekeeper, you're probably going to reshuffle your deck when you draw the secondary copy whenever it's on the same turn as you draw the Moonlight Guidance. So you have to reshuffle your deck afterwards. Just a big warning. That does come up a few times, and the original reason I scrapped this deck the first time around, but it didn't come up too much this time when I was testing this deck. They're actually playing some weird type of adventurer Paladin deck. Kind of interesting to see. I've been wanting to do something like that. It's just I can't to ever do it whenever I think about it. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a cool idea, but then I forget about it whenever I try to think of a Paladin deck. We're going to reshuffle the deck again. We're going to give a mana crystal. That gives them 2 more minions. Fills up their board. I'd rather have them board filled up with 2/2s than some type of recruit that they could buff up with some spell in their hand. That is a little bit annoying. I guess it would be like a Zoo Paladin. That would be fun, I guess. I don't know if this would be the way I build it, though. So here we'll be able to use our MOONTREE to actually get us 3 pieces done in this turn. And we'll draw into the 4th just with the top deck. It's time to plant us a tree like Staghelm, and that was a terrible joke. I'm going to kill one of their watch posts, which is pretty nice. And we're going to get a pretty good split on the rest of the minions, where we can just have this heart do most of the damage needed. And then Overgrowth is our next card. Party Up. I don't think I've ever seen someone actually play that card against me. It sucks that we already used our AoE for Cthun, but we can just put down the body after we kill the poisonous one. Let's just grab Bog Beam. Get rid of another minion on board. Might as well. Probably should have went for the 2/2, but oh well. Then we can draw a card, and we could do a few things. We could try to get greedy with Moonlit Guidance, or we could just draw into our highest cost card right here, and the next turn we'll be able to put him down. As long as they don't have a Mutanus for some weird reason. Okay, they'll be able to kill Cthun. I'm really curious of what that deck list looks like, because I want to try something like that eventually. It's just seems like a horrible idea. Okay, they got Spirit Jailer. I guess their biggest hope is to try to put enough HP on the board so we can't kill them in one turn. There's the Moonlit Guidance. If we had done that in the opposite order, we would have probably been better. I probably also should have grabbed the resizing pouch instead of that. Well, that's really funny. So we can actually do that next turn. Just hit their face a little bit here. This isn't going to kill any of their minions, but it does allow us to break the Divine Shield, which is the most important thing. I think they're starting to realize there's no way they can win this. They're going to clear out their board, which is a huge mistake. And that placing that down is even bigger of a mistake because it's just one less place they can put down another minion. And he's shattered no more. He is our victory, Cthun. Alrighty, it's time for a game against Hunter. Probably going to be questline because that seems to be the stereotypical Hunter deck right now. Though people are experimenting a little bit with Big Hunter and Face Hunter, not really experimenting with Face Hunter. Face Hunter always exists. The Big Hunter I've been seeing a lot more people experiment with. This opening hand isn't the best in the world. We do have Overgrowth, which is pretty decent overall, but the other two are probably the draw powers we want to keep in the deck, and top decking a Cenarian Ward is not really good, though it does help with the tiebreakers for Capture the Mine, since there's only one other 8 cost card besides Moontree in the deck at this point, and they are questline. Okay. The good news is they won't be able to play a lot of their spells because we don't have that many minions. Bad news is we might just get burned out of the game pretty quickly. Okay, they played a secret, so it's probably going to be Explosive Trap. We can actually figure this out by just using our hero power, or we can just draw our highest cost card. It turns out to be Ice Trap, which is actually kind of a shock. I don't think a lot of people run Ice Trap in Secret Hunter. Interesting to see. It's fine because we can just use Overgrowth next turn, though that might be another Ice Trap. I'm assuming it isn't. And we keep drawing into the Cthun pieces, which is a little bit annoying. We can just hero power, get rid of the minion, so they don't have anything to target their spells with. Okay, Hunter Secret number 2. Maybe their secret quest line? That's honestly probably a really bad idea. There's the second Cenarian Ward, so we only have one left. That's 8 costs, and we are going to draw into it right now. Then we can just use hero power to pop one of the secrets. Really curious of what the other secret is, because it isn't Ice Trap and it isn't Explosive Trap, so it has to be probably Freezing Trap as the last possibility, is my assumption anyways. Because I think all the other secrets are really bad in Questline Hunter, so I wouldn't know why you would run any of those. But then again, I wouldn't expect you to run Ice Trap or Freezing Trap in Questline, so who knows. I guess it could be to serve as some survivability tools, depending on what the matchup actually is. We're going to draw a bunch of cards here, which is going to be a little bit annoying, but we should be able to live for a few more turns at least. We can place down the Overgrowth if we really feel like it at this point, or we could use one of the Cthun pieces. We're going to use the Eyes of Cthun, or Beam of Cthun. I can't remember what it's actually called. Okay, so we're going to use our Moon Amulet to do 5 damage to the face, might as well, and it also does heal us a little bit. Okay, so we need to remove that probably in one turn, or at least put something in between our face and it. So Body of Cthun might be the best option. We don't have enough mana to use any bit of the combo, so we're going to double the body, and hopefully that will keep enough between our face and them to be able to live for an additional turn. Okay, they are going to be able to kill one. Nice thing is they can't kill the other, and we should be able to use Lunar Eclipse to finish off the 7/7, which is great for us. Okay, so that isn't a top deck that we wanted to see. We're going to have to use a Cenarian Ward here, just for the armor gain. Uriel isn't the best we could get. It isn't the worst, but if we could get another Solar Eclipse, we might be able to stabilize pretty well. They're going to be able to get us pretty low, I think, here. Okay, so we have 2 left. They're going to draw 2 more cards. And this is almost the end of the game if they didn't top deck anything useful. And they didn't. So we're basically only going to be able to use Cenarian Ward here, and we might be able to come back. We could also use Moonlit Guidance to try to get something too. Let's see what we get off of the studies. That is 1 mana too short. We're going to have to use the Cenarian Ward because we're at 1 HP. There's nothing else we can do. A 8/8 is pretty nice though. Ah, so it is Freezing Trap. Alright, how much damage can they actually do? I wonder how... Oh, Kazakis. I guess that makes sense. That does explain why they kind of bricked their... You do have the Maw of Cthun, which should be able to kill theirs pretty quickly. And we basically just need 1 more minion and we should be able to win. Guff is actually a pretty good top deck too. Gives us a little bit more armor. We're going to draw a card. We're going to kill their Kazakis. And then we're going to attack their face. And then use Nature Studies, grabbing the Kennels. This will allow us to put some more minions on the board before they can actually do anything against them. Okay, so we just have to hit their face. And we do have a Solar Eclipse plus Fog Beam, which allows us to get rid of their Teacher's Pet. So as long as they don't generate another taunt off of Teacher's Pet, we should win. Now, and we did it. That's actually kind of a shock. Man, that much stuff sucked. Okay, time for a game against Mage. We're going to probably keep maybe 1 mine just to keep it shits and giggles, but we're probably going to just mulligan everything here away. This is not as bad as it was before. We can just use Guidance right away to try to generate anything. Lorekeeper in the opening hand is not technically what you want to see though. Same thing with MOONTREE. Sure, there are combo pieces, but I would not want to have them in our opening hand. Fungal Fortunes is really funny, especially because we have literally no minions to actually hit because the 2 minions in our deck are in our hand. It's always funny. Whenever I play a deck with a bunch of minions, I never draw into them when there's only a few spells. But if I play a deck with 2 minions in it, or maybe 5 tops, I always draw into them for some weird reason. That's just how the game works, I guess. Now we can use the Fungal Fortunes. Okay, a Cthun piece, not technically what we want to see yet, but we do have 1 Cenarian Ward still in the deck, so we do still have some placeholder between the MOONTREE and drawing to 3 pieces. We're going to kill their minion, try to see if that was counterspell, and it wasn't. Okay, so we're going to put down the Lorekeeper, because the next turn we can use Lightning Bloom to actually get MOONTREE out, which will allow us to stack the deck, and then probably draw into Cenarian Ward with MOONTREE, but it does get 2 out of the 3 Cthun pieces out of the deck, so that's going to be probably pretty good. Though, knowing my luck, Maw is probably going to kill 1 of our minions, even though they have 4 minions compared to us having 2. Oh, I guess Cenarian Ward is going to get hard drawn here. Never mind. It'll still be 3 pieces. We're going to use him and then pass the turn back. We should be at a nice HP pool where it doesn't really matter. Okay, so what are the chances of Ma actually hitting the 3/4 and not one of the 1/2s? They're going to be able to kill our minions. That's fine. MOONTREE still triggers. How did we manage to draw the 1 non-spell? I guess we still draw 3 spells here, so it doesn't really matter. I wonder if that's actually in alphabetical order. No, it can't be. No, it could actually be. Could it? No, because H comes before M. So that actually puts that theory out of the question. Nice thing that Guff has some draw power to him, right? Okay, so we're probably going to want to use a Sonaran Ward, though we could use the Cthun piece to just get it out of the way, and then we can draw a card if we really feel like it here. Or gain a mana crystal, then use our Corrupted Amulet, and then go face, triggering the Ice Barrier. So we should be able to draw into Cthulhu pretty quickly. We do have a lot of draw cards in the deck. Lunar Eclipse isn't one of those draw cards though. And with the fact that they're a mage, they're probably not going to have that many minions. We're going to use Solar Eclipse to double up on the armor. Oh, that's a really funny card to generate off of that. Okay, so let's see what we draw. I should have actually used anything else in the hand first. Oh, we can draw a card here. Moonlit Guidance is really funny. Maybe, if it draws us into Cthulhu. If it doesn't, then it doesn't. We're going to kill that minion anyways. Go face. Generate 2 mana crystals, because why not? Generate 2 more mana crystals, because why not? And get 2 4/2s. They're going to wipe out our entire board. We're going to get the Moonlit Guidance, might as well. Grabbing the Resizing Pouch. And then grabbing the Cthulhu. Because playing 1 Cthulhu, might as well play 2. They actually allow us to. And they give up. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of this deck. This deck actually performed incredibly well. It doesn't really shock me too much. Ramp Druid is just a really strong deck right now. It doesn't matter what win strategy you slam into it. You're going to probably end up winning a bunch of games with it. You might have a better time playing something like Kazakhstan Druid, but that's way more boring. So why not try this deck out? If you have Cthulhu and you have Lorekeeper, try this one out. It's actually pretty consistent. And with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, bye-bye.